That's new. Well, welcome, girl. Alexa. No, this is Jewish Shandel. Shandel.
Wow, and it stays there. We have to click on it to get rid of it. It stays on the screen unless you click continue.
Okay, anyway, here we go. We're up to Mem Aleph Amid Beis. We were discussing the lashon of Zahiris that they put on the first. They put one on the Ser Mishtaleach between the horns. That would be divided up when they get to the racks. It'd be divided up. It would be cut in half. Part was put on the racks. Part was put on the goat. It would be thrown off the cliff. When it died, it would turn white to show that the chatoyim were malbin, that they were. In addition, they put around the ser that you're going to shech. They put a red bendel around the. Not such a good school for this one. A red bendel around its throat. Yeah, they put a red bendel around its, because it's beis shchita. They put it around the beis shchita, and it's ordered that if it would run away, you don't want to get mixed in. Yeah, grace it's sorry. So you have a chatas mixed in with all the animals. They all got to die. So you want to go ahead and make sure. Then we got all into the sugya of paraduma. Tonight's sugya, guys, is basically all about paraduma. About paraduma, that there's a paraduma when you throw in the red thread. Does it need weight to kaiv it to go into the eish, or is it enough just to be nisahveves? So we saw two shitas, machloikis tanoim, and that's where we're up to. We're up to 3 lines to the bottom. Ki aser Rav Dimi says Rav Dimi, Amar Rav Yochanan and Rav Yochanan, Sholosh l'shayna shemati. I heard 3 l'shaynos, 3 halachas about lashayn, about a bendel. Acha shel para, one to do with the paraduma. The acha shel seir hamishtalech, one to do with the seir mishtaleach. The acha shel mitzayra. Now the mitzayra, fellas, the mitzayra, after he's chutz l'machne and the kohen goes checks him out, if he finds that he's tahar, we have this ritual where he brings 2 birds, and he kills one of the birds with the live bird, he dips it in and he spritzes. And that's so there's 3 places where you find the shnit elas, by the Mitzayra, by the Semish Talech, and by the Paraduma. I heard an halacha about a halacha, but I don't know which one to apply to which. And what's the halacha I heard? I heard that Shemati achas shel par achas shel soyer mishnech achas shel soyer achas mishkal asara, 1 zuz, 1 weighed 10 zuz. The achas mishkal shnei slayim, that's 8 zuz. The achas mishkal shekel is 4 zuz. So I heard 12, 8, 4, right? The ainli lefarish, and I don't know exactly which goes where. I don't know which goes where. So Kiyasa Ravin, Pirshem Ishmael Rabbi Yonasan. When Rabbi came over, he said in the name of Rabbi Yonasan, Shel para is mishkal asar zuz. The para, since you need kaivid, the sheik, the holes, you need weight, has to be 10 zuz. It has to have mamashas to it, tangibility. Epis. The sel seir mishtaleach, the seir that is going to be thrown off the cliff, mishkal shnei slayim. It has what? A mishkal of two slayim, because still it needs more than the minimal amount because you have to divide it. Since you divide it needs 8. And shel mitzayra is mishkal shekel. And the mitzayra, it's enough. That mishkal is enough to be what? A shekel. So therefore, 4, 8, 12, 4 the mitzayra, 8 for mishtaleach, and 10. I said 12, and 10 for what? For the para, and 10 for the para. You need koif. Okay, that's the opinion when Ravin came and he said in the name of Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi said in the name of Rabbi Yonasan. So I'm Rabbi Yochanan, pligi bar Rav Shimon and Chalafta v'Rabbanan, the para. They argue by para. What's the share of para? Chadam a mishkal asara, as we just said, like Rabbi Yonasan, it has to be 10 zuz. The chadam are mishkal shekel. One said that has to be 4 zuz. In other words, you're missing the middle share. You're missing the 8. You're going to 2 extremes. You're going for the maximum, the 10, to the 4. Right. The simanayach and the way to remember that you don't count the middle share is echad hamarbe ve'echad hamamit. Where one is marbe, one says a lot, ve'echad hamamit, and one says a little. That's the share, but not the middle share, not the share what of 8, not the share of 8. Right? They don't argue about para. El Beser Mishtaleach Pligi. In other words, you just put a machloikis between Rabbi Yonason and Rav Shimon Mechalaf and Rabbanon, saying the machloikis is by para. No, para is not by para. El Beser Mishtaleach. The argument is what is by the Ser Mishtaleach. Hu Yuma, one says the Ser Mishtaleach needs what? Needs 10. And the other one says what? It needs 4. Those are the two extremes. That's where the machlokes is, over there. And Hu Yuma Noach Nafshe the Rabbi Bar Kisi. The Rabbi Kisi passed away that day. And they made the following simon. The Rabbi Bar Kisi mechaper k'Ser Mishtaleach. To remember that machlokes by Ser Mishtaleach, they say the misas of tzaddikim is mechaper. So the misas of Rabbi Bar Kisi is mechaper what? Like the Ser HaMishtaleach. He's mechaper like the Ser Mishtaleach. Amr Yitzchak. Okay, so that's a very. Let's look at. We have a little time tonight. Let's look at Taisus Yishanim. Taisus Yishanim b'shal Ser Mishtaleach mishtal shtei slayim. 2 slayim. In other words, it's the middle share. It's 8. This is the first sheet, guys, right? The first sheet there was because of the chalukah, you need 8, and the mitzvah needs the least. Tema, itayim mishum deboy chalukah b'shnei shkolim sagi. With 2 shkolim, it's enough. Then the mitzvah loy be'inan el shekel. B'shem gemar gnirolon the be'inan hachi. In other words, hasteless. If they're gonna, why would you think that you need for the same mishtaleach? Why would you need 2 slayim, right? Just because chalukah with 2 shkolim it should be enough, and not 2 shkolim should be enough. But b'shnei shkolim sagi mitzvah you only need 1 shekel. So maybe they had a mitzvah that you needed, I guess, this amount that you needed, but they're saying 10, that you need the same mishtaleach l'chayra, that you need what? You need more. 1 second, I'm saying slayim 8 sus. So what's this kasha? 8 sus, 4 sus. Why do you need so much? I thought you only are getting 8 sus. In other words, according to this, look, this is the top line, right? It says the para is 8 sus. The seir shalech is shnei slayim. That is what? There's 2 zus. And the shela and the mitzvah is a shekel, which is 4 zus, which is 4 zus. So ask the what's the ask and tema itayim mission by chaluka b'shnei shkolim sage. Yes, not shnei slayim, but isn't shnei slayim the same thing?
I think it's on Rabbi Yomi is saying that it's on the Shomer Shalech that one's saying 10. No, would it be on that 10? So it would be the 10. So say you only need 8 instead of 10. Why is he saying you need 10?
1 second. Okay, now after that, are you going on Rabbi Yirmiyah?
Yeah, Rabbi Yomi.
The argument, okay, very good. So then it's pashut, right? So therefore, it should be enough 8. If it's just chalukah, why do you need the maximum of 10? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I learned it on the wrong thing. That makes no sense, right? So again, so why would you need 10? You should. It's elamad. They had a messiah. He says he has a messiah in that. So messiah. See, the reason I learned that way is because it's look at the next Stephen Masel Chaim. Messiah mishtalech pligi, right? You understand? Yeah. You understand that? That's why Smash was going back on before because they first introduced it over here. Came a hachanami my timer. The mandi orma asara zuzim. You see, and that's not right shot because they're asking a kasha on this one. Kilam mitzvah kolkach. This Chaim, I can't. You understand? Okay, yeah, listen, makes no sense. Okay, makes no sense. Okay, anyway, so kilam mitzvah kolkach imishum chalukah b'shnei shkolim sagi. It should be enough. Mishum pisumim nisa shema ben tzarich yaisa. So very good. There's an opinion. You know why you want a bigger share, guys? Because you want to be fasten the nest more. Because again, it's going to turn white. So you have you maximize the share 10 rather than 8.
So unique. Usually, basically, we didn't want to fasten this, right? It was supposed to be 10.
This the only one who saw this was the person who was by the cliff.
Only they didn't see it off the cliff.
You know what? There's something that they would put up
By the
not by the tree, by the in the Beis Hamikdash. They put up. We're going to see that in the Gemara later on. They put it up there. So that would be a tremendous pearsum. But I don't know if that's the same one. I'm not sure. That's not the same Shalech. I don't. No, we said they divided it. They put one on the rock and one on the Seir. That's a different one. That would fit in good with this. That to publicize it to get a big shtick up there to publicize it. Okay, l'chala pachas. This is the machlokes. Yeah, the Gemara's geschmack. Okay. Yeah.
It was from the same stuff. When it turned white, that's what he knew it was done.
But again, the chalukah we said Rashi brought the chalukah was the half on the rock and half on the Seir. Again, we're going to see a little ahead of our time. I'm Rabbi Yitzchak. Shtei shchita shemati. I heard there two shchitos. Achas shel para, achas shel paroi. One the para aduma and one the para of Aaron, guys. And one the para of Aaron. Achas kasher bizar, the achas psula bizar. Lo yadana haiminayu, and I don't know which one. Okay, so guys, stamazoi. By this time we know that either four avodas adam, the shchita, kabbalah, halacha, and zrika, and shchita is kosher bizar. We all know that. Of course, it says the hikr of Aaron. Aaron, the hikr is kabbalah. The kabbalah of the elach of the koyin. From kabbalah elach of the koyin. Before that is what is shchita is kosher bizar. So now there is Aaron's par, and a para aduma. I heard one of them is kosher bizar. I don't know which one. Now, it makes sense to paraduma. Why? Because on Yom Kippur, everything has to be done with Aaron.
It can't be
Paraduma is outside.
because that's only the cutting.
Paraduma was shut out on the Harazazim.
Okay. Anyway, Mendy, what's the answer? Mendy knows the answer. It's a machlokes. There you go. It's a machlokes. Let's see the machlokes. So one said, Itmar, shchita para uparoi, the shchita of the paraduma and Aaron's par, Ravu Shmuel, Chad Omar para psula is bizarre. One of them says that Ravu Shmuel says that paraduma is pasul bizarre, and paroi kshera, but paroi will be kosher bizarre. Aaron's par will be kosher bizarre. The Chad Omar, and one of them says paroi psula, Aaron's par will be pasul, and paroi kshera, and the par will be kosher. So you have machlokes across the board. Tistayim, let's bring a raya, the Rav the Amar para psula. That the Rav would say that the par is psula, and the the paroi would be kosher. Right? The para would be pasul, paradum would be pasul, but the paroi would be kosher. Dom Rav Zeira, shchitas para bizar psula. The shchita of the paraduma bizar would be pasul. The Amar Rav Allah, and Rav said on this, Elaza v'chuka shaninu ba. In the parsha of paraduma, it says two things. It says the Sagana Kayin, who was what? Elazar, he did it. Elazar v'chuka, and a chuka, and a chayk. When it says chayk, it means to be ma'akiv anyone else. So if the parsha of para, it says Elazar, and it says chayk, it must be a zor, a non-Elazar, a non-Kayin cannot do it. It's not a svara. There's a kasev. I'm just saying that it says Elazar, it says chayk, it's going on the whole thing. It's going on the whole lineage, everything that says over there. So therefore, if that's the case, Rav, it would make sense that Rav said that it's possible. That Rav would be the one that said it's possible. The Rav Maishna Para, the Chsiv Elazar v'chuka, Para inami haksiv Aaron v'chuka, by the Parshas Achrimos, it says that what? It says Aaron v'chuka. The hikr of Aaron is parachatas ashaloi, the keeper of love. The shochet is parachatas ashaloi. U'kasiv Achrimos be'inyan v'hoyes zois l'chem l'chukas olam l'chapra b'nei Yisrael. So if your svara is, it says Elazar v'chuka by paraduma, by parishal Aaron, by Yom Kippur, it says Aaron and chuk. So also you should have the same thing, that a zor should be pasul for the power of Aaron. And for the Gemara, shchita lav avoidahi, shchita is not an avoida. So this is the mahalach that Yankel was just trying to say, that when it says chayk, it's going back on the whole Inyan, or that no, it precludes maybe not what, maybe not shchita. Shchita lav avoidahi. So by Aaron, when it says chayk, it's not going back on the shchita. It's not going, because shchita's kachim is what? Is kosher bizarre. So when it says chayk, it's not going on that. Only paraduma, where you don't have the four avoiders. We have different avoiders. Paraduma wasn't. It's called a chatos, guys, but it wasn't a carbon in any which way. It was brought in harzeisim. There was no mizbeach. You sprinkled the dam towards the oil moyed. You burnt it. It was a whole unbelievable thing to see, but it wasn't a carbon. It's called a chatas, but it wasn't a carbon. Let's see Rashi here. Shchita lava avoidahi. Kaima chuka shchita. Just like Yankel said. Kaima chuka shchita. The choik that it says by Parshas Chukas, by Parshas Achrei Mos, by Yom Kippur, that choik is not going back on shchita because shchita lava avoidahi. Ihachi for the Gemara, an obvious question. Paranami, let's say para as well. Shchita lava avoidahi, and the choik that it says Be'al Lazar is not going on the shchita as well. And for the Gemara, listen to this teretz. Shiny para the katshe bedek habayasi. Para is different. It's why because it's not kedushas aguf. It's katshe bedek habayas. It's the opposite. It's svara. Let's see Rashi. Shiny para, guys. The kachi bedek habayas. See, look at Rashi. Kloimar. Ein bo kedushas hamizbeach. It doesn't have kedushas hamizbeach. El kedushas domim ba'alma. It's kodesh for its value. Shar shchitasha b'hara mishcha. The shchita was in hara zeisim. Hilkach ein tzad avoidas nechlokas pa. B'chol avoidas shavis pa. And all avoidas are the same. Guys, look at me. You have a carbon. Every carbon is the same vis-a-vis the avodas adam. You need a shchita, you need a kabbalah, you need a halacha, and you need a srika. Those four, given. That's a given. You need those four, right? Good. Memela, we know shchita is kosher bizarre in kachim. It only says v'hikrav aron mikabbalah v'ela. Shchita is kosher bizarre. That's a given. Says Rav, Mimela, the para of Aaron is no different than a shlamim, than a chatas, than an oila, than a toida. It's no different. Shchita is kosher bizarre. It's Yom Kippur and it says par. The chayk on Yom Kippur is not going on an avoida. That's not an avoida. What does it mean not an avoida? If a zar can do it, it's not an avoida. So I can be machalik between the other three and shchita, and I am. So the chayk that goes ahead and decrees that everything on Yom Kippur has to be done by the kohen gadol is not on the shchita. The para aduma, on the other hand, is katshe what? Bedek habayis. It's not a katshe mizbeach. The ritual, there's no four avoidus. There are things that have to be done. You shecht it, you burn it, you throw 8 arrows, which you stay last, you gather it, there's the ashes, there are things you're done. But there's no svardim mechalik between A, B, C, or D, between 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Memela, since it says Elazar and Chayk, the Chayk goes on the Shechita just as much as it goes on the Shreifa, just as much as it goes on the Asifas HaEfer. Because there's no Gnoi Dik Avoida. When it says it's Kache Bedek Habayis, it means there's no Avoida like Avoida Samizbeach. So Memela says Rav, the Shechita of the Paraduma is Taka Pasul Bizarre. Because it says Elazar v'Chayk, and there's no Svardim Mechalik to anything else. Fred the Gemara, then I thought that was a great hezbollah. Rashi gave it. I'm not saying, I just elaborate upon it, but then look at the Gemara's next question. Fred the Gemara, V'lav kol the kain hu? Is it not a kal v'chaymer? Says Rashi, Bitmiya, Ashchitas paroi de kedushas agufi loikasi v'chuka, v'ashchitas paroi kasi v'chuka u'mifsel bizarre. Now, what is happening over here is, I kept them separate. I had paroi separate, and I didn't go ahead and say shchita is synonymous, because again, it's just a ritual that you do with the paraduma. Fred the Gemara, 1 second, you can't do that. The act of shchita should be no different in the Bizbeach and outside. If it's kosher bizarre because it's not an avoida, then it should be kosher by something that doesn't have kedushas aguf. Something that just kedushas domim should also be kosher. That's the kasha. So don't go ahead and make machalik and say it's a ritual that's not associated with it's kosher bizarre. If it's kosher bizarre by para, it should be kosher by para. It should be a para as well. Freding about Vlad called again who? Some Rav Shisha Breda Vidi Midi de have Amaris Nagoyim. Maybe it's like Amaris Nagoyim. The lava avoida he. It's not an avoida. Ubai kahuna. It's not an avoida. In other words, you can have a doctor that goes out there and says, "Wow, that's tras." Doesn't mean kihuseh. You need the koyin. So too, what by paraduma, you need the koyin. It's shita. It's similar to that. No, needed the havi. Amir does. He needs a koyin. That's all he does. So back to the original pshat. It has nothing to do with the fact it's a shita. It's a ritual that needs a koyin. The paraduma needs a koyin. That's it, nothing else. Memela, we've gone ahead and ascertained Rav Shita. Rav is the one who says that that paroi, Aaron's par, it would be kosher bizarre, and paraduma would be pasul. Good? We're good. Now, what does Shmuel hold? Then Shmuel must hold the opposite. Shmuel must hold para by his pasul bizarre, and para is kosher bizarre, right? So where do you get the svara of Shmuel? Fred Gemara. Shmuel the Amar Paroi Pesula, like Shmuel who says Paroi Aaron's par is pasul bizarre. Ma'ishna Paroi dechsiv Aaron v'chuka. Paranami haksiv Elazar v'chuka. So now let's go the other way. If you're going to be machmeh by the Paroi, you should be machmeh by Parah. If you're going to be machmeh by Paroi, you should be machmeh by Parah. Again, why? What's the chumrah of paroi? What's the chumrah? What's the chumrah of paroi? Because it says Aaron and it says chayk. So you have the chumrah of paroi. It says a lot of chayk. So therefore, Shmuel should hold paroi is also pasul. Why does he just hold paroi as pasul? And for the Gemara, Shani Hasam Dechsiv the Shachat Oisoi Lefanav, that he should shecht in front of Elazar. Shehizor Shechet Elazar Raya. You don't need Elazar doing the absolute shchita. You just need him viewing it. The Shachat that has to be in front of him. It has to be in front of him. The Rav. What does Rav do with that pasuk? Since Rav holds that what? That taka you need a lazar. The Rav means the fun of shlo yasiach taita mimena. It should not be hesach hadas. He should not have, his mind should not go ahead and travel in other places. Shmuel, where does he know hesach hadas from? Since he uses it, tell me that shchit is kosher bizarre. Shlo yasiach taita minale. Nafkle mivsorev esapora le'einov. He burns the para in front of him, in front of Elazar. So from the word, Rashi says from the word le'einov, it says the word le'einov. V'rav chad b'shchita v'chad b'sreifa. One is going on the shchita and one is going on the sreifa. You can't have hesach hadas b'shas shchita and you can't have hesach hadas b'shas sreifa of the par. V'tzricha. Dikas rachmana b'shchita. If the Torah is going to only write by shchita, mishum detchilas avoidasi. It's the beginning of avoida. Therefore, you can't have hesach hadas. Aval sreifa, the burning of the para, emaloi loy. I would say what that hesach hadas not a problem at this point in time. Tzricha tell me this is a problem this time. Because rachmana b'sreifa mishum the hashtahu the miskarsha para. What's the whole purpose of para, guys? To get what? To get the issues, right? So I'd say this is the time is getting the issues. So I'd say this is the crucial time not to have hesach hadas because this shafts the paraduma. The sreifa shafts the paraduma. Aval shchita emaloi. I would say the shchita is just like a kind of hechsha, preparatory step to get to what? To get to the sreifa. Kamash malon, you can have hesach hadas. Aval shchita emaloi tzricha. Now, lamute mai, this psul of hesach hadas, right? What is coming to what would not be possible by hesach hadas? What would not be possible? Good. What would not be possible? Okay, now let me give you the steps, guys. I wrote it down on this itty bitty card. There are 7 steps to the paraduma. Okay, the first one is shechting. The second thing is being makabel blood and sprinkling towards you're up on Har Hazeisim. Remember that the wall's got to be lower in order to see the oil. It was lower than everyone else because we go according to the sheet of Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov. It had to be 20 and he was 20 and a half because you couldn't see through. So the wall had to be higher. I don't know what I'm talking. And it goes ahead and I know what I'm talking about. And it goes, he sprinkles and the 7. Remember that picture, right? Yeah, good. The guys are good. Humor's geschmack. I tell you, it's a schooler. They say if you don't remember your learning, you should learn Kachim. It's a schooler for remembering Kachim. It seems to be people remember Kachim better than other stuff. As I have gehört. I can tell you in practice it's not true, but I have gehört. So Shechita. Anyway, so you have Shechita, you have Kabbalah 7, and you do Hazah 7 times. Then you burn the para. So Shechita Hazah, burning the para. Then you throw into the fire, you throw in the Eitz Erez, the Izoiv, and Shnis Teilas. Then you gather the ashes, you fill it clear with water, then you mix the ashes in the water. Okay? So now we're saying you don't need Hesach, you can't have Hesach Hadas by the Shechita, and you can't have Hesach Hadas by the Sreifa. So it basically takes care of one. So now which one is okay with Hesach Hadas? We have 5 other options of what, which I'll fill you in as we go along, of where you can go ahead right and have a problem with Hesach Hadas. Says the Gemara. Lemutei Mai, where would not be a psul if you have Hesach Hadas? Ilema, Lemutei Asifas Afara, you're going ahead. Step number 5, where you're gathering the ashes. Umili Mayim Lekiddish. Step number 6, where you're going ahead and you're filling up the water to mix together. There it says Lemishmeres Lemeinida Kasiv. It says Lemishmeres. Mashma what? You need Shimer on that. So basically, you've done away with Shechita, you did away with Kabbalah, you did away with Sreifa, you did away with the gathering of the ashes and the filling of the water. So what else could it be? That you could have Hesach Hadas when you're throwing in the eitz and the eres, the haisap, and the ezov and the shnish selas. The eitz eres is cedar wood, the ezov and the haisap, and the shnish selas, the lav guf of the paraninu. That would be, you can have, so that avoida you could have Hesach Hadas from. Okay? So in other words, shchita not, burning not, gathering the ashes not, filling the water not. Those are all unique to the para. And then there's this thing of throwing in the Ezav and the Shnish Salas. If you go ahead over there and you have a Hesach Hadas, it would not pass the carbon. Okay. It wouldn't pass the paraduma. Itmar. Shchitas para bizarre. Okay, now we're going back over here, right? We had Machloikis, Shchita paraduma. Rav said what? Rav said no good, and Shmuel said good. Yes? Rav said no good, Shmuel said what good. Says Shmitas part bizarre. Rav Ami Amak Sheira. It's kasha. Mashmu kasha lechatchila. Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Amak Psula. He said what? It would be puzzle. He said it would be puzzle. Ula Amar. Ula says Ksheira. Ula says it's kasha. V'mila Psula. Others say he said Psula. Masar Yeshua Barabba l'siyui l'Rav. Masar Yeshua Barabba l'siyui to Rav that it's puzzle, and Rav held it's puzzle. Ainli ela hazah meimeha she'ein k'sheira b'isha. I only know that the woman can't sprinkle 7 times. The woman can't sprinkle the par. Step number 2, sprinkling the par 7 times. Towards a woman can't do that. Ainli ela hazah meimeha she'ein k'sheira b'isha. Maybe not. Maybe it means water. Maybe it doesn't mean blood. I'm telling you, maybe a long shot. Imam means that she can't sprinkle the paradu on somebody. Guys, I'm sorry. Okay, let's rewind the tape. Erase that. Alexa, Shandel, erase that. Anyway, so again, it's going on. She can't spritz the paradu with water. Once the paradu, she can't. Shen kasher b'isha, kibi ish, shen kasher in ela b'yoyim. Minayin l'rabbi shchitasa v'kabbalah. How do you know the marba shchita v'kabbalah that she can't do that? The Kabbalah is dama v'azaz dama. How do you know to include the shchita and Kabbalah of the dam, the sprinkling of the dam, and the burning of the para? V'ashlachas eitz erev ezav shni salas. How do you know that you need day? All these things. How do you know you need day? Tamalayma toiras. It says toiras. Let's see Rashi here, guys. Okay, siyul Rav the Amar shchita psula. Hazome meha ein kasher b'isha 3 lines down. Come on, Mefarish will explain later on. Ein kasher ela b'yoyim, only during the day. It says that On the third day, you have the paraduma sprinkle has to be during the daytime. Minayin l'rabbis that shchitas has to be during the daytime, but kabbalas dama during the daytime, v'azdaz dama during the daytime, v'sreifasav ashlachas eitz erev v'shnisalas. Guys, you see that if it was a carbon, you learn it from beyond savosa, like any other carbon that has to be during the daytime. But you see, you need a special limit because it's not a carbon. So how do you know all these avoidus of the paraduma is only kosher during the day? It says Toiras. Zois klukas ha-Torah, Torah achas l'chol avoidasa. A Torah achas l'chol avoida. So at mashma, all the avoidus that I mentioned, the shchita, the kabbalah, the sreifa, the ashlachas eitz, the gathering, everything has to be during the day. Yochel shanimar ba'af asifas efara umilui mayim v'kidush. I might think the gathering of the ashes and the filling of the water and the mixing of it together, I would think that also has to be during the day. Again, because it's part of the list. Talmud Loima, Zois. Talmud Loima, it says Zois. It says Zois, Tairas, and Zois is what is a miyot. So we're being memayet, part of the avoida of the paraduma. So nachamo. We're including the shchita, the kabbalah, and the spitzing towards the oil mayed, and the burning, and the shlachas eitz erez. All of that is end during the daytime. However, the gathering of the ashes and the water getting it from a spring and mixing it together, that could be at night because there's zois. Given our druthers that we're going including some and excluding others, why do we apt to include the shchita, the sreifa, the hashlachas eitz, and exclude the gathering and the filling of the water and the mixing? Says the Gemara, Acha sheriba kosev umira amit hariyanu lemeidim kula hazos meimeha. You learn everything what from hazos meimeha. Ma hazos meimeha, just like the sprinkling of the water, ain't kasherin beisha kibeish. Then kasherin ela biyoim. Afani evi shchitasav kabbalas dama v'azos dama v'sreifasav ashlachat seiseres v'ezav u'shnitalas hoil then kasherin beisha kibeish. Right? And kasherin ela biyoim. In other words, just like shchita, kabbalah, sreifa, shlacha is only by ish during the day, so to and not by isha, so I'll include it during the daytime. Now, so what about the other three? I guess the other three a woman could do, gathering it, filling it up, and putting the ash in. And she could do, and therefore, since she could do it, then you could do it at nighttime. And therefore, right. So Umoitz says Gemara, then kshem be'isha k'veish in ksherin el abiyim. Umoitzi ani asifas afara, the gathering of the afer. Umilei mayim, the gathering, the getting of the water from the spring. The kiddush and mixing it together. Hoil ksherin be'isha k'beish ksherin nami bayom ubelayla. Okay. Spread the Gemara of a high mighty yufta. What question is on Shmuel, who says that shchita ibapar is kosher bizarre? In other words, you're bringing a raya to what to Rav. Guys, we're bringing a raya that Rav, that shchita is kosher bizarre, right? That shchita is possible bizarre. That shchita is possible bizarre, right? You want to say that anisha is, maybe it's only anisha. It says the Gemara. Guys, this is you want to bring a raya that it's possible to what? To a zar to do shchita. Good? Of a paraduma. Assumption being because an isha can't do it. So just like an isha can't do it, a zar can't do it. 1 second. I'll show you. I'll disprove you. I'll disprove you what from sprinkling the water on a person. That is possible be'isha, but mutter bizarre. So maybe shchita is possible be'isha, but mutter bizarre, and therefore it would not be a raya to Rav and a kasha and Shmuel. So my tiyufta, what's the tiyufta on Shmuel? So I'm going to buy a haina tiyufta. Here's the tiyufta. Isha my timer. What's the reason a woman cannot go ahead and shecht? Because elazar v'le isha. It says elazar and not an isha. Right? It says elazar, right, and not isha. So zar nami elazar v'le zar. By zar nami it says elazar v'le zar. And therefore that's the raya to Rav and Akash and Shmuel. Let's finish Rashi over here. Fred Gemara says Rashi. What upshot do we have in Shmuel on here? Inema midiktani shchita pesula, the isha pesula nami bizarre, just because a woman can't do it. A zar also can't do it. Isha my time, why can't a woman do it? Minole the shchita pesula be isha. Bishle mekabala dama. Excuse me. Bishle mekabala dama. V'hazar dama ksiv v'lokach alazar akoyin mi dama hainu kabala. V'hazar el nochach pnei olamayim hainu hazasa. Usreifasa nami le'el minei ksiv koyin. V'had b'sar v'sapara le'enov ve'alazar v'shlacha seis erev koyin ksiv. El shchita mehecha. Shchita, where do you know from? All the other ones, the 2, 3, 4, the five things that I mentioned over here, Kabbalah, Sreifa, Hashlocha, and gathering the Yeshes, all of that, or Hashlocha is up to 4. Number 4, not the gathering of the Yeshes. Those 4 you don't need a koyin. But where do you know Isha is puzzled to Shech? It says Allah Isha. Val Korchach v'Shacharei Sol Lefanav Allah Koyin. The Shech in front on Allah. Darishlei Tana Karav, that you shouldn't have Hesakadas. She hey Achashoich and another person shafts, but Lazaraya, Kidar Shmuel, the Hechim in Isha. Where do you buy Isha from? Guys, where would you know when Isha's out of the parsha? If you darshan it like Shmuel, what did Shmuel darshan? What did Shmuel darshan? That the Shachar love he shechts, right? If you darshan like Rav, right, it's like Hesakadas. I mean, shecht in front of him. He's puzzled to shecht, right? A zor can't shecht, you can't have Hesakadas. So if you're saying that it's speaking where you shecht in front of Elazar, maybe it's an Isha shechting. It's not a woman shechting. Ella must be like Rav. That's the raya. So when it says over the element that Elazar darish leitana, so we've proven according to Rav that shchita is a paraduma is possible according to Rav. It's kosher according to Shmuel. The shchita of the par is mut according to Rav. It's not an avodah, and it's kosher according to Shmuel. And we'll stop over here.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Shama Shavan Aliyah.